What's up, guys, and welcome to the Duel Entertainment YouTube channel. We have got a treat for you. Last night, Konami updated the game after the KC Grand Tournament, and leaks for the new box were downloaded into the game, and they were data-mined. So we are going to go over them, and the name of the box is Witch's Sorcery, and it will be the next main box in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Now, before we get into it, just a couple things to take into account. This is a main box, and it does look like we have 8 listed URs as well as 9 listed SRs, so that does leave room for some cards to come from the selection box and make it into this box. So keep that in mind. Yeah, I know a lot of people are hoping for some selection box cards. And joined with me today, I have Ryi, XGP, Ryi, and Mithyard. What's up, guys?
Yo. Chillin'.
All right, so
KC Cup, yeah.
So we are going to keep it to archetypes first, and then we'll go over the individual URs and SRs. And the first archetype we are going to go over is one that I know nothing about, Witchcrafters. And they have a couple URs and yeah, a couple URs and a couple SRs. So let's go over the first UR, Witchcrafter Shemitah. It is a fire level 4 spellcaster. During the main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card, then discard 1 spell. Special summon 1 Witchcrafter monster from your deck, except Witchcrafter Shemitah. You can banish this card from your graveyard, send 1 Witchcrafter card from your deck to the graveyard, except this card. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. Alright, so right off the bat, I'm looking at this, the Spellcaster Fire Monster, and it can send itself to the grave pretty easily. That spells Purgatrio to me, if nothing else.
Basically, Fire Monster for Purgatrio, yeah, but it also is really good consistency card in Witchcrafter. A little spoilers, we have another monster, small monster, Witchcrafter Petor. It's a super rare card, and it is water. And you know, there is fire, and there is water, and there are spellcasters. It just shout invoked engine.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you literally search whichever material you need, or if you just want the effect of the, especially the other UR we're gonna get. Easy to get it just with this card. Pretty ridiculous, but yeah. Witchcrafter is just easily going to be the best deck that comes out of this main box.
Yeah, I mean, just so much versatility off the bat. You have a fire monster, tribute it, put it in the grave to get a water monster. Easy, different.
You can also do the same with water monsters. Water monsters have this exact same effect. The first effect, they are the unique effects for little Witchcrafters. We don't have all of them, but we have 2. And the Petor, Witchcrafter Petor, the super rare card, has exactly the same effect. You discard a spell, you tribute this card, and special summon any other Witchcrafter. So even if you open fire, you can still go into water, and if you open water, you can still go into fire.
So are both effects like generic effects for the archetype, or are they like what?
Yes, for small Witchcrafters, there is a boss monster for Witchcrafter. We're gonna talk about it later. But I think we have only 2 Witchcrafters, right? The small boys.
We have
Petor and
two small ones, yeah.
Yeah, there's still 2 more that we didn't get, but they have the exact same effect. You tribute, you discard a spell, a special summon the Witchcrafter. So basically, you want to open like 1 monster and 3 spells, and the deck just become crazy at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I guess finding the correct ratio for monster and spells is going to be your main thing you can deal with deck building. So
yeah, before going to the boss monster, because like we need to talk about other archetypes, and Witchcrafters is the best one of them, but is the smallest of them. So without talking too much of the spells, there are Witchcrafter spells. I think no ultra rare or super rares. Yeah, they're only rares and commons. There's Collaboration, Holiday.
Okay, so you want to do the spells before we do the boss monster?
Yes,
Okay.
Because the boss monsters doesn't quite do the...
Alright, let's do it. So next, we have Witchcrafter Collaboration. It is a normal spell. Target one Witchcrafter monster you control. It can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. Also, if it attacks this turn, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. During your end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use one Witchcrafter collaboration effect per turn. So this is pretty... I don't know, would you run this? This seems kind of like win-win.
Of course, because all the Witchcrafter spells have the same effect, the last line.
Oh yeah, that's true.
During your end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. So if you remember the Shemitah and Peter effect, that you need to discard spell to summon a Witchcrafter. So if you open like 3 different Witchcrafter spells, you summon one, discard, summon another, and during the end phase you just recover all 3 of them back to hand.
I see.
This card is ridiculous. It lets something attack twice and it gives it the Ancient Gear effect. That seems a little good.
Yes,
And
but
by
the
a
only...
pretty good.
Yeah, it seems good on paper, but we just don't have a good card to activate it. Like if you look at attack of Witchcrafters, there's 18, 1,000, and 1,000.
Yeah, we'll definitely go and look at the monsters, because obviously this is something that makes attacking very worth with the Witchcrafters. We just have to see if there's any Witchcrafters worth attacking with to make this card playable for its first effect. So let's move on, because it looks like we got a couple of these. So next card is... The next card is Witchcrafter Holiday. This is a normal spell as well. Target one Witchcrafter monster in your graveyard. Special summon it during your end phase. If you control a Witchcrafter monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use one Witchcrafter Holiday effect per turn, and only once that turn.
They have a referable Monster Reborn?
Yes.
Wow.
The problem here, if you read, because this is the first, I think, time they introduced this text. You can only use one effect per turn and only one that turn. If you use effect to reborn, you cannot recover the card.
So it's every other turn, okay.
Yeah, every other turn. So if you either recover it as a free material for any Witchcrafters to pitch, or you use it as a spell.
Right, so you can only activate one of those effects. I see. Yeah, I mean, free special summon from the grave, I mean, that is a pretty good spell, whether you have to discard it or you activate it naturally from your hand to get a monster.
Once again, remember the effect of Shemitah. Shemitah can send any Witchcrafter card from your deck to the graveyard by banishing it from the graveyard, and to put it from the graveyard, you simply tribute it from the field. So it discards one spell, and then you can send another spell, and during the end phase you recover 2 spells. Or, if you have Holiday in your hand, you can send another Witchcrafter monster with Shemitah, and then you activate Holiday to reborn that Witchcrafter monster.
Easy.
And this is, of course, all spell cards that are specific to the archetype. You're, of course, going to be playing, for example, if it ends up being Invoke, you're going to play Invocation. The Limit 2s, if you add any Limit 2s, Legacy Clash, Econ, whatever those cards, those all, will work with the effects. You don't have to discard an archetype-specific spell.
Right.
Limited 2 cards, it's secret pass to the treasure.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
dude, it worked.
You're
you
gonna
can
be
do it
playing you're gonna be playing your power spells as well, so gotta keep that in mind. So
it's just ridiculous. Did we talk about Veer yet?
what's up?
Did we already talk about Veer?
Veer?
No, we are talking about spells first, and then we'll go to Veer because it's like...
So we have Witchcrafter Unveiling. It is a quick
This
play
card
spell.
is the most favorite card from all the players.
Alright, so read it.
For some reason, yeah.
Read it then.
Special summon one Witchcrafter monster from your hand, and if you do, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Spellcaster monster's effects for the rest of this turn. If you activate an effect, they cannot respond to it. If you summon a monster with Peter or Shemitah, they cannot floodgate it, they cannot Fiendish Chain it, they cannot negate it. Basically shut down for opponent. And during the end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter monster, it's like same generic effect.
Yeah, so something...
And then also a quick play.
Yeah, right. So that was just something that you could probably do, right? So this is a quick play spell, and then your Witchcrafter effects have a quick effect. So if you were to activate this card and then use one of your Witchcrafter quick effects, right? Wouldn't you kind of chain block your opponent because your opponent can't respond to your opponent's monster effect? your monster effect being activated?
It will not be able to respond to that at all.
That's great. So they can't respond to your monster. The one opportunity that they did have to hit your monster when you activate this card and not a monster effect is now gone because your guys got monster effects. They have quick effects, so those can't even be negated. This is pretty sick. If you control a Witchcrafter monster and you add it to your hand, you add this card to your hand, getting this back is gonna be huge.
Just don't forget that you cannot activate this card and recover it at the same time. It's same as Holiday, same as Collaboration, and now it's Unveiling. You either summon or recover.
Yep, they're the same and only once that turn.
Because that's a quick play spell, you can set it, for example, and activate it during your opponent's turn, and during your end phase you recover it.
Nice.
It also works.
Alright. So what else we got
you
here?
know, final monster, the boss monster, the UR card, Witchcrafter and Madame Veer.
Yes.
So, other boss monsters deck has a very simple problem. If you open a boss monster, you're struggling on summoning it.
Right,
Usually
so-
it's summons from the deck or something from the graveyard. Well, you can just summon Veer from the hand with the spell card we just read.
Right, yeah, and let's take a look at Veer's stats. It's a level 8 light spellcaster. During damage calculation, if your spellcaster monster battles an opponent's monster quick effect, you can reveal any number of spells with different names in your hand. And if you do, your battling monster gains 1000 attack and defense for each card revealed until the end of this turn. Quick effect, you can discard one spell and negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Witchcrafter Madame Veer once per turn. Whoa.
Imagine having 2 quick effects, dude.
Yeah, 2
Jesus.
quick effects, and one of them
Two quick
is
effects,
like turn the spells in your hand into Alistair's. Like, that's crazy.
Okay, so you put 3 spells from your hand in the graveyard turn 1,
Yes.
summon this, add them
Yes.
back to your hand, she goes
Yeah.
up to 5800.
5800. Yes.
Can I
And
talk?
3000 defense. No. That's correct. That's right. The problem is, it is in defense. That's the only problem. It's not like a side as it can attack. If it could attack in defense, well, this card is basically the best card we had in Duel Links for a while.
Well,
but
what
there
I
is
was trying
such
to get at is you
card.
can concentrate and current it, is what I was trying to get at.
Yes, you can Concerning Current, but to use Concerning Current, you need to put that in attack mode.
Yeah, and this
Yeah,
is pretty
I mean,
good.
obviously it's a strong effect. Quick effect means you can use it both turns, you and your opponents. I mean, just AoE Fiendish Chain, nothing wrong with that. Oh, you played Cyber Dragon Core? Psych? No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Probably
So-
Concentrated Current, correct me if I'm wrong, but Witchcrafter Madame Veer says during damage calculation. And damage
Yeah.
calculation is a step after damage step.
This is
While
true.
Concentrated Current can be activated in the damage step, cards cannot be activated in the damage calculation unless they say specifically so. So for example, Bujindi Crane can be activated in the damage calculation, and same is Madame Veer. So if you activate Concentrating Current, you cannot do that before the effect of Madame Veer.
Alright, so we have one more Witchcrafter to go over, right? Just the SR, there's no rares here that we missed. Yeah, correct. So, the SR Witchcrafter Pittore is a level 3 water spellcaster. During the main phase, quick effect, you tribute this card and discard one spell, special summon one Witchcrafter monster from your deck. Except this card, then you can banish this card from the graveyard, draw one card, then send one Witchcrafter card from your hand to the graveyard, or if you have none, banish your entire hand. You can only use each effect once per turn, and that's pretty
Dude.
nice. Another easy way to dump your spells.
This is secretly Metaphys support.
Secretly Metaphys support.
Jesus. There's just a new way to
Banish your
scoop, dude.
entire
When you're done, you just do this. You're like, oh, well, I lose.
Get all
somehow.
that shit out of here.
Mind in the Plana about to go up in value?
Hey, Thunder Dragon support.
Yeah, definitely want to make sure.
Metaphys and Thunder Dragon support, that's correct.
You definitely want to make sure you have a Witchcrafter card in your hand. It doesn't say monster, so it could be a monster or one of the many spells that you're going to be playing.
Oh yeah.
So
Basically, if you open Pitor or Shemitah and like other spells, you can normal summon Shemitah or Peter, the one you open, discard a spell, summon the other Peter or Shemitah, then you use the Peter, discard the other spell to summon Veer, and then you use Shemitah's and Peter effect to put more spells in your graveyard to recover during the end phase. It's like full cycle.
Hopefully your opponent has Fiendish Chains to stop you.
They cannot because it tributes by cost.
this is
Finishing
Veer
doesn't
when
stop
it's
the
on the
card.
board. That Veer hits the board, it's over. No deck can really play around that shit.
If Veer hits the board, you can finish in Veer. That's basically the only weakness.
Yeah,
But
or
like,
Floodgate.
yeah,
But
if,
even actually, no, isn't Floodgate, you can, whatchamacallit?
if you can change Shemitah or Peter to summon Veer into activation to some card, no, because that's going to be chain link to summon.
Yeah. Rip.
Alright.
Jesus.
So that is Witchcrafters. Looks like we're looking at 2 URs and an SR, and then some normals rares in the main box. That's still pretty hefty, so we'll have to see after it. We'll talk about all our thoughts really quickly on each archetype. So next, going forward, I want to talk about prophecies or spellbooks, whatever you want to call them. So the first card is a highly anticipated card from the Xyz era that I know, High Priestess of Prophecy. It is a light level 7 spellcaster. You can reveal 3 spellbook spells in your hand, special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can banish one spellbook spell from your hand or graveyard, then target one card on the field, destroy that target. And this is Spellbook's long-awaited boss monster, and in the future is going to open up stuff for if they decide to give Spellbooks the Xyz support that they have. You know, they are Xyz, their archetype. But yeah, I was surprised to see this card. A really long, sought-after card finally coming to the game. What do you guys think it's going to do for Spellbooks?
Remember where Saga exists? Nothing.
Since Saga exists, nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's...
the Priestess of Prophecy is a great card. It summons, it pops. It would be great like 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I said. It came out a while ago, sure.
But like, it's not even a quick effect, and the game already is very fast for this card.
Yeah.
And it pops only one.
Yeah, it's a glorified Dark Magician.
It's just not enough. It, like you said though, I think you've hit it spot on. This will be good in the future.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna make spellbooks super expensive. Now you gotta go into this box, you have to go into the Visions of Ice box. That's about it.
Yeah, you're gonna need copies of this card, man. Several if you're playing a fat spellbook deck. 3 spellbook spells in your hand to summon this. It may seem not like a very hefty cost, but you're gonna have to have a lot of resources to bring this out efficiently. So,
At the
Old
very least,
card?
at least it's a good card for spellbook of. It's a good target for spellbook of power. Makes it a 3,500.
To make it equal to Sun Saga. Yay!
at the very least, right? Okay, so
Yeah, Sun Saga basically just too good for the meta even
yeah,
now.
essentially. So,
There is an old card to play with High Priestess of Prophecy. It
Yeah,
was
yeah, let's
released
not
a
worry.
while ago, called Justice of Prophecy, because it was just never good, and it was only played with High Priestess. It is kind of slow, but High Priestess is also slow, so basically they combo well with each other.
oh yeah, this came out with the
the-
original.
Yeah.
Spellbook
So
release.
what Justice says, when you activate a spellbook spell, during the end phase of this turn, you tribute Justice. From the field,
And then you
you search
search-
for level 5 or
Yeah.
higher Dark or Light spellcaster, and also you add a spellbook spell card.
That's pretty nice.
So for example, you normal summon Justice, you activate Secrets, you search for a spellbook card, and then during the end phase you tribute Justice, search for another Secrets, and Priestess, and you already have like 2 spellbook cards.
Yeah,
so
so it is
if you have any
definitely-
other spellbook cards for next turn, you can summon High Priestess next turn. But exactly what I said, it's just too slow for just one card to pop.
Right. Alright, so moving right along, we have the Quick Play Spellbook of Wisdom. Target one spellcaster monster on the field, then activate one of these effects. That face-up monster is unaffected by other spells, or the face-up monster is unaffected by traps. Yeah, I guess this is just some
Alistair players be like, Lance this.
Lance this, yeah, that's gonna be.
No. I mean, if
That's
you
really
activate
interesting.
these on Alistair, it will be unaffected by Lance, but it also will be unaffected by your own invocation.
Dude, we're in there. We're all good. Don't worry
That's
about
right.
But-
Oh man.
Yeah, I remember a lot of spellcaster decks tech just this card, not even running spell books. Just this was great as a way to keep your opponent from stopping one monster.
It
Yeah,
might
I mean,
actually-
this card's just one of those cards where it's like if Spellbook gets too crazy, this card's just gonna go up like crazy. I mean, to get obviously stopping spell or traps from affecting you, really, really good.
Yeah, you can use
But
the
Spellbooks
offensive
aren't
or
good,
defensive.
and yeah, you'd rather just play like a Forbidden Lance or something.
I mean, the Spellbook of Wisdom card, it's very generic. It doesn't say any spellbooks names in effects.
Yeah, you could use
so,
some Witchcrafters if you want.
yes,
Like,
and also there is an idea, just an idea. You can play Spellbook Engine in every Witchcrafter deck. For example, you can play 3 Secrets and 2 Wisdom to have the guarantee safe from potential finishing.
What the? I think at best this will end up being played as a side deck card in Dark Magician right now.
I think, yeah.
Also an idea, yeah.
Right now, I think that is going to be its most applicable use, at least until people optimize spellbooks or Witchcrafters. I think for
Right,
immediate
you
use,
might.
Dark Magician is definitely going to be it. Alright, and our next prophecy card we're going to be going over is World of Prophecy. This is a light, level 9. Looks like a boss monster. When this card is special summoned by the effect of a spellcaster type monster or a spellbook spell card, you can target 2 spellbook spell cards in your graveyard, add those targets to your hand. You cannot special summon other monsters during the turn you activate this effect. When you add cards to your hand by this effect, you can reveal 4 spellbook cards with different names in your hand. Destroy all other cards on the field. What the heck? You gotta have 4 cards in your hand to destroy the whole field?
Actually easy to do. Like, it might sound like a joke, but if you think about this, the combo is very simple: Temperance and Secrets. You normal summon Temperance, you activate Secrets, you search for Master, you copy Master, search for Secrets, then Temperance tribute this card itself to summon World, World recovered Master, and Secrets, and now you have 3 already, and if you had one other, you destroy 4 cards, all cards on the field. It's very easy to do.
I guess I am underestimating how easy it will be for you to cycle your spellbooks, because that was the whole thing with spellbooks before, right?
Yeah.
You would cycle them, but then the end game would always be just spellbook of fate to banish. But now you have all these other options to keep your spellbooks in your hands. So
That's why I said that we need to compare this to High Priestess. This
Right.
is what could be good. High Priestess, I highly doubt it. But this card, it is as slow as High Priestess, but it makes advantage. And it pops not just one card, but all cards on the field.
so keep that in mind when you're going through the box. Priestess may be a UR, but you may not need multiple copies. This guy is pretty sick too. Okay, so that does it for Prophecy. So let's move on to what I think.
Also,
Yes,
there is
please.
one more card, Normal Rarity.
Yeah.
It could be interesting. Stoic of Prophecy.
Historical Prophecy, got it. When this
Because
card
it
is sent to the
searched
graveyard,
and-
add one level 3 Prophecy monster from your deck to your hand. And level 3
Um,
Prophecy, I think Justice of Prophecy is level 3, right? We talked
And
about that
Temperance of Prophecy. Both of them are level 3, and both of them starters for Priestess and World Prophecy combos. So if you find a way to consistently send it to the graveyard, for example, you can use it for Fusion Summon with Invocation from the hand, and summon Casitas, because it's water. And search for Justice or Temperance. After that, next turn, or this turn, you can summon or search High Priestess or World of Prophecy.
Alright. So.
Also, you can just set Stoic, it gets destroyed by battle, and you search.
Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna move on to Evil Eyes. I know absolutely nothing about this. I saw this, I was like, what the? So the UR is Evil Eye of Selene. It is an equipped spell. Equip only to an Evil Eye monster. It cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. Each time you
Kind of
activate
like-
the equip the monster's effect, or you activate another Evil Eye spell trap card, the equipped monster gains 500 attack, and if it does, you lose 500 life points. This attacking remains even if this card leaves field. If this card is in your graveyard, you can pay 1,000 life points, then banish one Evil Eye spell or trap from your graveyard, except Evil Eye of Selene. Set this card. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, I assume that the
What a
rest
hell
of
of
the
a
archetype...
card, right?
Yeah, I assume the rest of the archetype does stuff, and this is like the supporter card that helps it do stuff.
On the supporter, you can only also recover this from the graveyard every time, but just by banishing another Evil Eye.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And paying 1,000 life points, and it also, like, look at how many life points manipulation it has. You lose 500 life points each time a monster effect activates or a Evil Eye card,
Yeah,
so it's easy to trigger basically any skill in the game
Yeah, this is
that
true.
lose life points, and also you can recover it from the graveyard by paying life points too.
Pretty nice. Well, I'm gonna have to read the rest of the archetype, get some more context, and the next card for context is the SR Medusa Watcher of the Evil Eye. This is a dark level 4 fiend. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one Evil Eye card in your graveyard except Medusa, add it to your hand. If this card is equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, quick effect, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it. You can only use this effect of Medusa, Watcher of the Evil Eye, once per turn. Once per turn during the next standby phase, after this effect was activated, banish one card in your graveyard. So I don't know if there's other Evil Eye equips, but this card says specifically you can only, well, its effect works with Evil Eye.
Only one Selene.
Yeah.
There's only one Selene, but there is another equip spell that says that is treated as Evil Eye Selene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. That's how that works. Okay, I mean, banish
So
card
basically,
from your opponent's grave.
this card disrupts graveyard.
Yeah.
Like, for example, your opponent activates Solfefner, discard, and you just banish the Solfefner. Your opponent change attribute to fire and activate Invocation, and you just banish that fire monster, and they cannot summon Purgatrio, for example, against Sabers. What else can be?
Shiranui banish level 2.
Shiranui, yeah, banishing the Spectral Swords. I mean, this card is crazy good in the meta.
Yeah.
If he equips with Selene, it manipulates with the entire graveyard synergy.
Yeah.
That's kind of the problem, though. Like equip card in general. Like right now, probably the most relevant equip is the favorite hero. Any disruption before the equip actually resolves, you can still target it, and then you get nothing.
Yeah, I mean, well,
So
just
that's
thinking,
beyond the problem.
off the top, you know, Shiranui, a deck that does not have access to Cosmic Cyclone. However, they do run those heavy back row, which can flip this card down.
Yeah.
You know, make it so
Yeah,
that
Ballista-
Floodgate, Ballista. Yeah,
Floodgate.
there's so much. It's just too easily listen, equip spells do not work in Yu-Gi-Oh! Period. It's just not a thing. It's just so bad, and Duel Link's even worse. So, you know, the effects are great, but it's just like favorite hero, where it's like, yeah, the effects are great, but how many times you're going to get it off? How many times you're going to be disrupted? You know, it all cut. Obviously, if you go first, that's amazing, but if you go first, you don't really get that much value out of Medusa. So while on paper it seems good, you got to remember it's an equip spell.
Yep, definitely. Equip spells do have that extra layer of play you have to go through to get them out. And yeah, there's a lot of interruptible stuff in the meta right now. All those traps you guys named, Ballista Squad, Floodgate, Canadia, all that stuff stops equip spells from doing anything at all. So, yeah.
Feels bad, man.
Nice card. It is a shame that it is required. It requires an equip spell to pop off.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. If that was just its effect without the equip spell,
Yeah.
could be pretty good. But yeah, we'll see.
Alright, so next we have the field spell Evil Eye Domain Pareidolia. This is a field spell. When this card is activated, you can add one Evil Eye monster from your deck to your hand once per turn during damage calculation if your Evil Eye monster is attacked while Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell and trap card zone. You can make the battle damage you take from this battle also inflicted to your opponent. If this card in the field zone is destroyed by a card effect, you can target one Evil Eye monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only activate one Evil Eye domain per turn. Alright, so it is a searcher for an Evil Eye monster, so the Medusa, and
So, like,
opponent
before
takes
going
damage
into
for-
other Evil Eye monsters
Yeah.
and spells, for all Evil Eye spells, they have two effects. First effect is based on if you control an Evil Eye monster, and second effect is a bonus if you also control Evil Eye of Selene. So here, for example, effect is you add an Evil Eye monster, and bonus effect, if you control Evil Eye of Selene, you can inflict the same battle damage you take to your opponent.
right? And it says while Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell and trap card zone, not even if that monster is equipped with it,
Yes.
just as long as it is
Exactly.
present.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is something to keep in mind. So with this card in mind, we have a little bit more context for the rest of the Evil Eye cards. So none of them are SRs, so I think there's a couple here. Tell me of any more if I missed them, but this is
Only two Evil Eyes. Others are the rares and commons.
okay. Are any of them relevant?
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
So let's go to Basilius, Familiar of the Evil Eye. Dark level 3, Fiend. If you control an Evil Eye monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Basilius, Familiar of the Evil Eye once per turn this way. During your main phase, you can send one Evil Eye spell trap from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Basilius, Familiar of the Evil Eye once per turn.
So basically, if you can send Selene, for example, to the graveyard, and if you have another Evil Eye spell and trap already in the graveyard, you just banish it to put Selene on the board. It's really easy to get into Selene with the deck. And if you get Selene, you have already absolutely unoutable monster. Mostly.
Mostly.
Because Casitas just cannot be destroyed by card effect and cannot be targeted by card effect. However, Selene makes it also undestructible by battle.
Alright.
For example, Crucitrons cannot even out the monster. A Matrix will put it to defense, Impact will make it 0, but it's still indestructible by battle. Summer Destroyer will negate the monster effects, but not negate the Selene. Quarian cannot target this card. And what else? There are no odds for Crucitron to this deck.
Basically, this is a Luke Typer deck that will be seen in battle phase.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Watch that shit come out of nowhere, top 32.
This is definitely his type of deck. So the next one I see is another equip spell, Evil Eye of Gorgoneo.
Yeah.
Equip spell. Equip only to an Evil Eye monster. You can only activate one Evil Eye of Gorgoneo per turn. This card name becomes Evil Eye of Selene while it is in the spell and trap card zone. While your life points are lower than your opponent's, the equipped monster gains attack equal to the difference. You can banish this card from your graveyard and discard one Evil Eye card. Add one Evil Eye spell trap from your deck to your hand, except Evil Eye of Gorgoneo. Once per turn.
Basically, remember the effect of Basilius to send an Evil Eye card? Well, this card is mostly the card you're gonna send.
Yeah, it does.
Because this card can search for any Evil Eye. You just need to pitch an Evil Eye spell and trap from your hand.
Yeah, and I can see
Or
there's
actually,
a couple
yeah.
more. And
Any Evil Eye.
yeah, so this is where you're going to be searching your spell and trap cards with. So let's move on to those so we can see what you're going to search. And we have Evil Eye Confrontation, the quick play spell.
Wait, you skipped one? You skipped the best
I
one?
did? No, it's right next to it.
Yeah, the trap rare.
But it's after it, right? It's after it, yeah.
Oh wait, yes, it's after.
Alright,
sorry.
Evil Eye
Yeah.
Confrontation. If you control an Evil Eye monster, target one spell trap your opponent controls, destroy it. And if you do, an Evil Eye of Selene, and Evil Eye of
Yeah.
Selene is in your graveyard spell trap zone, banish that destroyed card. You can activate one Evil Eye Confrontation per turn.
So effect is to destroy a spell and trap card while you control an Evil Eye monster. Bonus effect, if you have Selene, you banish it instead.
I see. That was worded
still-
weirdly, but I see.
Wait,
I
but you
see
still
what you mean now.
destroy it though, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
still
you,
destroy it,
first
then
it
you
gets destroyed, but then it gets banished.
Yo, activate castle, let's go.
yeah, that's pretty sick. It's a quick play
Not
spell
castle,
as well.
fucking fortress. Yeah, it's interesting.
So
I mean, the problem here is like Cosmic Cyclone is just better.
yeah, to be honest.
This is
And this deck has no limit 3, so instead of playing Confrontation, if you really need to play a spell and trap removal, just play Cosmic Cyclone.
Yeah, but you can play Cosmic and this. Oh my god.
Yeah, and this doesn't cost life points. I mean, the rest of
Yeah.
your effects do, but
Yeah.
Alright, so
And now the best card of the deck, I think.
we have Evil Eye Defeat, a normal trap. If you control an Evil Eye monster, target one monster on the field, or up to two instead. If Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell and trap card zone, return them to the hand. You can only activate one Evil Eye Defeat per turn. Oh my god, it's Yosenju Sword Slash,
Time.
but for
Yeah,
Evil Eye.
remember times when it was easy to play around Duel just by summoning only one monster? Well, not against Evil Eye Defeat. Even if I have only one, I can still bounce it. And
Yeah, at least it's
Medusa,
monster, not card.
Medusa can just recover this. So when people saying, oh, it's easier to disrupt this deck because Evil Eye Selene is a quick spell, Evil Eye Selene is just a bonus card. This deck is a control deck featuring mostly around the Evil Eye Defeat. You summon a monster, you get Defeat Selene, that's your basically standard setup, and after that you start disrupting your opponent plays.
Yeah, I definitely see that this card is going to be something that you definitely want to deal with, but I guess your strategy is going to be having to justify multiple threats, having this in your back row alongside one of the Evil Eye Eclipse, forcing your opponent to deal with one of them first, and then you can hit them with this if you don't get your Eclipse strategy off. So yeah, pretty nice. I do think that they will struggle with the Eclipse, but they do have the solid control effects, like you were saying. If the Eclipse don't always work out.
Even if your opponent has Cosmic Cyclone,
Yeah.
they need to choose. Do they want
Exactly,
to
they
get
have
rid
to
of the
choose
Quick
between
Spell,
this and your Eclipse.
or the potential card that can bounce two cards?
One floodgate, GG.
Yeah.
I mean, going second, but as you said, this deck can play 3 Cosmics and 3 Confrontations, maybe.
Yeah, it does have.
Yeah, but confrontation doesn't do anything if your monster's face down, right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, if you control Evil Eye monster, your monster's got to be face up, so you have to chain it to your floodgate. See if you can pop something else or get rid of some other back row.
One other thing I wanted to add about the Evil Eye Defeat is remember the effect of Medusa? As normal summon, you return Evil Eye card in the graveyard. Well, you can just consistently recover the defeat if needed.
Yeah, all you have to do is see it once, and you can see it again pretty easily. Alright, so then.
Also,
Yep.
another thing, if this deck can play Treacherous. You can play 3 of these and 2 Treacherous.
Yeah,
and,
you can just
Hog?
pull this out of your grave so your treasure's live again. That is also
Doesn't-
Just remember, Evil Eye Selene banishing Evil Eye spell and traps from the graveyard to recover, so you can make your Treacherous always live.
Doesn't this deck have a Monster Reborn too, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it has. We'll get to that later.
Alright, so let's continue. We've got Kato Blepas, Familiar of the Evil Eye. Holy shit, I fucked that up. Dark level 3 Fiend, you can target one Evil Eye spell trap you control once until the end of the next turn. That card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. If you control an Evil Eye monster other than Kato Blepas of Familiar of the Evil Eye, while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect once per turn. Alright, so I have no idea.
It's kind of the worst of the monsters.
This
Yeah.
is the worst though. So it
The
destruction.
fact that it summons itself from the graveyard is cool, but how you even sending this card to the graveyard in the first place, and why do you send this in the graveyard in the first place? And they have such questions. you need to ask yourself,
actually,
Yeah.
listen. Evil Eye Neos, hear me out.
Evil Eye Neos. Oh god.
Christ.
Evil Eye Neos.
Evil Eye
We're going
Psychic
in,
Wielder
boys.
Turbo.
Oh god. We're in there.
Oh boy, alright, so what do we got next for Evil Eyes? Where is it?
The Evil Eye Awakening.
Evil Eye
Spell card,
Awakening down
first
here.
spell.
Evil Eye Awakening normal spell, special summon one Evil Eye monster from your hand or graveyard, or if Evil Eye loses your spell and trap card zone, you can special summon one Evil Eye monster from your deck instead. Whoa, that is pretty sick. If you get floodgated, it doesn't matter. This card doesn't have any any requirements, you can just special summon another evil eye from your.
Well, it's not quick play though.
It's what?
It's not quick play. It's normal.
No, I know. It's a normal. So after you get floodgated, can't you just special summon another monster you have?
Yeah, you can.
Well,
yeah.
if you have the
Evil Eye monster in your
Yeah, so if it's
or
your
at least
first- if
in your
it's-
graveyard.
yeah, so if it's your only monster that gets
Right. If it
flooded,
is your only monster,
like your
then
evil eye Selene's not really gonna do anything.
The best rotation for example turn on board for Evil Eyes is if you have both Medusa and Basilius, because usually it ends with Selene and the defeat card. And to make sure that's consistent, you can just play Awakening. So if you control already Medusa and Selene, you simply special summon Basilius, or if you have Basilius and Selene, special summon Medusa.
It's always nice to have a monster reborn.
Yeah, for sure.
No, it summons from the deck. That's all the point.
Yeah.
Well,
Your
you can
monster,
summon from anywhere. Yeah.
Stomp monster born.
All right. So next we have Evil Eye Manifestation.
Actually,
Whoa,
its name
that's
is
so weird.
Re-emergence.
That is crazy. Okay, that's Evil Eye Reemergence. Special summon one familiar of the Evil Eye token, 400 attack defense, level 1. Or if Evil Eye has Selene in your spell and trap card zone, you can special summon 2 instead. What? Also for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except fiend monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Your opponent cannot target Evil Eye spell and traps you control with card effects this turn. You can only use each effect of Evil Eye Reemergence once per turn.
Yeah.
This is the worst card of them all.
Those
At
freaking
least
tokens.
it isn't the familiar of the evil eyes.
Those tokens, man. Those are gonna come in
You,
clutch.
like as Ryi said, Floodgate could be a problem. You can play around Floodgate with this card. So you normal summon like Medusa, they Floodgate it, but then you activate Re-emergency, you summon a token, then you equip Selene, and then you activate Awakening, but that's too much of a card combo to even end on nothing.
Dude, I would surrender if you pulled that combo off on me. I'd be like, yeah, you deserve this. There you go.
Oh man, okay, so next we have Evil Eye Repose.
Finally, the like card.
It is a continuous spell. When you activate this card, you can banish one Evil Eye card from your graveyard to draw one card once per turn after damage calculation. If your Evil Eye monster is equipped If your Evil Eye monster equipped with Evil Eye Selene attacked an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster. If this card in the spell and trap card zone is destroyed by a card effect, you can target up to 3 of your banished Evil Eye cards, return them to the graveyard, and once per turn. So this says once per turn during damage calculation, if your Evil Eye monster is equipped, you can banish it. So that is before the monster is destroyed. Would be destroyed, you can banish it instead. Right, so your attack value shouldn't matter.
Casitas out, let's go.
Yeah, it just says banish, no target.
That it's out, and it is your protection. It's like 2 cards in the same. Like if you have Selene and the monster, it's already hard for your opponent to deal with. It can only start by battle, and even if your opponent tries to go for damage, they are the one.
This is Amazon's
Will be
Onslaught
counting.
for this deck. This is crazy.
Yeah, and it also draws a card.
Yeah,
Like as a stat, you can banish Evil Eye Defeat, for example, to have Life Treacherous with this card. Yeah, Repose is a great card. The only problem is Selene is already a quick spell card.
Yeah, this
card is a continuous, so you have only one slot left for a real backward card.
If Arrow Mage can do it,
Yeah, if Airman can do it, this deck can definitely do it. With a freaking Amazon's Onslaught as a continuous effect, you definitely want both of those cards on the field. I would doubt that there are other spell and traps that you would want to have
Yeah,
all the
that's
time
these
except for these 2 cards.
almost Amazon's Onslaught.
Yeah.
The only the difference is like visible here is like Amazoness Onslaught can be banish any monster it battles whatever you want with Amazoness. This card can be banished only one time per
Okay,
turn.
very important. Only once.
But like if you control a monster equipped with Celine, you can just really banish only one time. You don't need to.
Now it says you can only activate one Evil Eye repose per turn. Does that mean you can activate all of its effects per?
Yes,
in the
you can
same
just
turn?
activate one Evil Eye repose
Right,
like
so
from
you
the
can-
hand.
Okay, so yeah, okay, I got you. Only one from the hand, but you can use all of its effects, so that's important to know.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that is going to do it for Evil Eyes. So, Evil Eyes, I'm going to be honest, that was pretty interesting. Definitely a game mechanic that is going to be interesting to play out in tournaments and stuff for dueling. So, pretty quickly, we will go over the Predaplant URs and SRs, and then we will go over the generic
One last thing I
URs.
wanted to say about Evil Eyes, because
Yes,
like
go
I
ahead.
already studied the most about this archetype, as you can see, because I just don't agree with people saying that it's bad. It's like have pros and cons. Japanese players and they thinking that Evil Eye just struggle with attack power. Like, yeah, Celine can be boosting monsters consistently by 500 every time you activate a spell, and as you can see, there is a lot of spells to activate with this deck, and also Medusa's effect is like very easy to activate. But the Japanese idea is like they have so many themed monsters on the field, like Basilisk, Hawkins, Medusa, and it also has face-up spells. So they're thinking playing Hamon.
Oh my
Rabbit.
god. Hamon, Lord of Striking Thunder? Oh my
All right,
god.
now we know it's a meme. All right.
Holy shit, you have just crucified this deck, Mithyard.
And meme status.
And
I mean,
you-
that's Japanese players for you.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Alright, let's get these out of the way. So, we've got Predaplant Chimera Falecia. Alright, so
You're
this
perfect.
is a Dark level 7 fusion, 1 Predaplant monster plus a dark monster. Once per turn, you can target one monster on the field with a level less than or equal to the cards, banish it. When an attack is declared involving this card in an opponent's face-up monster, you can activate this effect. Until the end of this turn, that opponent's monster loses 1000 attack, and if it does, this card gains 1000 attack. Once per turn, during the next standby phase after this card was sent to the graveyard, you can add one Armorization spell card or fusion spell card from your deck to your hand. So if you guys don't know, this is one of those Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 archetypes where they pretty much, it's like Moonlight. It's from the same era as Moonlights and has that add the polymerization back to your hand. So E-Hero, I know you want to go over these, so what do you think about Predaplant Boss Monster, Chimera Falecia?
I have not seen much of this archetype. I didn't watch the anime it was a part of, but this card is really nice. It makes a 2,000 point difference in combat, which is amazing. It can even get over stuff that most monsters can't get over. And it having a Predaplant monster plus a dark monster, you could fit this in a bunch of random archetypes, especially with a card we'll look at in a minute. But you can fit this in a bunch of different archetypes, and it's a really good 2-card engine for a deck that can't really get off the board quickly, as long as they have dark monsters.
Okay. Alright, so let's hit up the other Predaplant card. I think there's only one other one in the US SRs, and that is Predapractice. It is a normal spell. Special summon one Predaplant monster from your hand, then add one Predap card from your deck to your hand, except Predapractice. You can only, also for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters. You can only activate one Predapractice per turn. Alright, so any of the smaller Predaplants from your hand onto the field, and it's a search.
Yeah, it's a very good card. There's only one other one that I think is really worth looking at, and it's in the rares. It's
Okay.
the Kalamadadu. I can't pronounce that name. It's the second
yes,
one. It's the first one on the second row.
Yes, Predaplant. Kalidosundu. Kalidosundu is a plant level 2 monsters with a predator counter that you use as fusion materials are treated as dark. During your main phase, you can fusion summon one dark fusion monster from your extra deck using this card on the field, and monsters from your hand, field, and or monsters with a predator counter your opponent controls as fusion materials. You can only use this effect on Predaplant once per turn. Now it's talking a lot about fusion monsters, but there is only one Predaplant fusion monster in this box. So you will be using this as your boss monster for Predaplants. No way around it.
In a lot of situations, yes, but not all situations. Because you can fusion summon one dark fusion using this card, and like
okay, what's the dark fusion?
Evil Hero Dangerous can be made with this guy because it's a hero and one dark effect monster.
Oh, Destiny Hero Dangerous.
I believe so. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. What can you use? Well, that requires Destiny Hero monsters. So, can you use that with him?
Yeah, you can just run just this guy, summon it, and then immediately make dangerous.
Oh, okay, I see. You could use the one dark monster from next deck. I see.
Yeah, so you could put if you were running a budget Destiny Hero deck where you don't have all the expensive cards, you can run a mini Predaplant engine where you have like just dangerous and the predator plant monster, and it will allow you to have access to that monster easier.
I see. Honestly, this is looking like box filler to me, man. It's looking like box filler to me, but nonetheless, some cool cards you can play around with. So next, we're going to cover the individual URs and SRs pretty quickly. This shouldn't take long. So we've got the cover card, Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. Dark Magician Girl plus one Dragon Monster must be fusion summoned with the above fusion materials or with the Eye of Timaeus. Once per turn, quick effect, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one face-up card on the field, destroy that target.
Great card.
I mean, yeah, man. just throw DMG in your Dark Magician deck.
I don't know, dude. You're gonna be like, listen. To play Eye of Timaeus, you already got to play one brick. Now you're gonna tell me you're gonna play Dark Magician Girl another brick just to bring this card out, and then it gets floodgated. And then what do you do?
Magician Girl's a brick, homie. You can bring it out with the navigation.
Yeah, but like, would you rather bring out Dark Magician Girl or Kaiko?
Well, what if I want a quick effect destroy one card on the field?
I don't know, man. I think this card is definitely an anime bait card.
Anime bait card. Holy shit, no faith.
That's why it's the box card. You're not gonna play Dark Magician Girl and Dark Magician.
Ryi is a haver of no faith.
No faith
Key
in
of
this
little
card, dude.
faith. All right. So next we have Battle Wasp, Hama the Conquering Bow. It is a wind level 8 synchro. If this card is synchro summoned using a synchro monster as material, it can make a second attack during each battle phase. You can only use each of the following effects of Battle Wasp, Hama the Conqueror once per turn. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can make all monsters your opponent currently controls loses 1000 attack and defense at the end of your battle phase. If your opponent has not taken any battle damage this phase, you can inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each Battle Wasp monster in your graveyard. And I think maybe the easiest way to take advantage of its first effect, I think Blackwings. All the Assault Blackwings become tuners when you synchro summon them. So like Raikiri, tuner, and I believe Shidori becomes one as well. So that may be an easy way to develop its first effect.
Definitely an interesting card. Probably not going to be huge meta impact, but it'll be one of those cards that just randomly gets synchroed out, and you're like, oh, hey, yeah, I remember that card existing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that's what it's going to be. It's a nice little niche synchro monster.
Yeah, level 8 generic. I mean, that's not bad.
Alright, so that is it for URs. Next, the SRs. So we have High Speed Roid Kendama, Wind level 6, a Machine Synchro. It's a generic level 6. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. You can only use each effect of the following effects of Kendama once per turn. You can banish one machine type monster from your graveyard, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. If this card is in your graveyard and you control no cards, you can special summon this card. You cannot normal summon set the turn you activate this effect. Whoa, so you can banish one machine from your grave, inflict 500,
Dude,
and
Crystron's officially a burn deck.
Exactly,
Let's go.
and Crystron's have needed an aggressive level 6 synchro monster for a very long time they can run, and now this is a machine and they can do it no longer. Will they be forced to only summon Powered Zekrom for the level 6 play? Now they can burn them with Kendama.
I think this.
I don't think
this,
there's room for it.
Yeah, there's like this is just gonna be a card that falls under. There's not enough space. Powered Zektrom's too good of a card to give up for this.
Yeah, I mean, if it's attack power matched Powered Insectron, you might be able to say something about it, but it doesn't have the oomph.
If we had one more, maybe like 2 more slots, I think there'd be other cards of priority. Definitely would be something that's interesting in Crystron's. Other than that, it is generic level 6, so that's pretty cool. But all the effects are pretty much irrelevant. I mean, piercing when it's in defense, the turn you summon this, you're going to be using a lot of materials. You probably won't get much effect out of that. The 500 damage, it's just 500s, whatever. And then the special summoning from the grave. Again, I mean, you use up your normal summon for that. So unless you're going to synchro climb or something, I don't really see it going too far. But it is something to keep in mind for the future. Again, you might randomly see this. Maybe a Crystron player tries it out. But between things like Black Rose, Corion, Insectron, and then all your Amethysts, like I don't see it being played in the main deck, at least.
It's another niche, generic synchro. Never know when we may need them. Good to have.
Yeah.
And that's necessary. You only need one. If you're going to go into this box, you're probably going to get it anyway.
Yeah.
So we have Ultrageist Marionetter. This is a spell. Oh my god, yeah, this is crazy. They're definitely running out of ideas.
Yeah, they're just like, how can we bait people into, guys, we added Ultrageist to the game, kind of.
When this card is normal summon, you can set one Ultrageist trap directly from your deck to your spell and trap zone. You can target one Ultrageist card you control and one Ultrageist monster in your graveyard. Send that card on the field to the graveyard. And if you do special summon that monster from your graveyard, if you guys don't know, Ultrageist is a Lynx era archetype, so these cards are extremely new. Their boss monsters are mainly Link monsters, however they do have a couple synchros. There's a couple more of these in the box, but we're not going to talk about them. This deck, this is certified box filler. Like you can pretty much stamp it that. Yeah. This is pretty much the main effect monster, using its effect to forward your Ultrageist strategy. Next we have Etheria, a Earth level 2 reptile. If this card is summoned, draw one card. You can only use this effect of Etheria once per turn. Thank you for the card. Alright.
I mean, it's going to be like used in, I guess, synchro decks that can special summon and synchro with this.
Yeah.
Which is actually not that bad for those purposes. But being level 2, kind of shitty.
Yeah, it's a really awkward level. Maybe if Thunder Dragons were still alive.
Don't say that. That's fucked up, dude.
Alright, next we have Primitive Butterfly, a level 5. Okay, in Wind Insight, if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can increase the levels of all insect monsters you currently control by 1. What the heck?
Bro, you bring this out, you bring out your Apira, you bring out any tuner, that's level 9 Vermilion Dragon. Let's go.
A third monster. Oh my god. Alright,
yeah,
next.
Pretty terrible. Okay.
Alright, and the last SR, the last card we'll be going over is Chain Hole. Is a normal trap. When your opponent activates a monster effect in response to a card or effect activation, negate that opponent's effect. then your opponent can banish one card from their hand or deck with the same original name as that negated card. If they did not, you can banish one random card from their hand. What the heck did I just read? That was like words.
So basically the most relevant use of this right now will be chaining to a Lancia that's chained to an invocation. Then you just chain hole them. That is the most relevant thing that you'll be seeing in this meta. This is a card kind of like Void Trap Hole when it first came out. It's just going to be a side deck card, and it's going to be one of those cards. It's not going to see huge play right now, but there might be a meta that develops that this card is.
That's pretty nice. So yeah, like you said, Lancia, and then if they don't banish another Lancia, then you banish a random card from their hand instead.
Well, yeah, because like because it's like most people wait for the invocation. That's like the most use you get out of. But then once they realize you're playing Chain Hole, if you decide to play Chain Hole specifically to counter Lancia, they'll probably just start popping Lancia like crazy when they see Alistair. So it's one of those cards where I could see people side deck. You're definitely not going to see this in ladder. Definitely not going to see it in anyone's main deck.
It says right.
It
says activates a monster effect in response to a card or effect activation. So just thinking that doesn't go off with Alistair, because response to a card that's not attacking doesn't count for that. Right?
Exactly.
Okay,
so like you can play around, like if you chain Lancia to invocation, that is what most people do, and then you realize your opponent's playing Chain Hole, you can just change your strategy and play around it. So that's why it's not really a powerful,
It's pretty niche,
trap.
Even something like Spirit Kariba, another hand trap, that would not work either, right?
No, because it's not to attacks. It's got to be to effects. So essentially, it'd have to be something like
probably an effect
Cyber Dragon,
like something we don't have right now.
Yeah. So something like a Cyber Dragon Veer responding to Dragon Core activation. You'd hit him with a Chain Hole. I don't know why you would do that, but you can hit him with a Chain Hole. So it's just very specific. And if a meta develops where we have something like that kind of happen, where things are chaining to each other like crazy, you get the Chain Hole off. I don't know if a meta like that will develop in Duel Links. That's kind of up to Konami. But yeah, like I said, right now, the most relevant thing is your opponent activates Invocation, you chain Lancia, you chain Hole to stop the Lancia.
Alright. So, that's going to wrap up the card, the URs and SRs, which is what we cover. So, we're going to do thoughts now. And guys, you have to understand, going in, we have not had a decent box in a while. This main box, we've gone over it. Witchcrafters seem pretty nice, have powerful effects. The Prophecy cards, they seem cool as support for spellbooks. Evil Eyes, definitely an interesting control deck. I think they may be a little niche. The cards may be a little hard to get off in the current meta. But I really can't say, because the main pull for this box, I believe, is going to be Witchcrafters. And yeah, I just think you have to wait and see. That archetype seems to be the most powerful and the reason that you would buy the box. So in the coming week, I would definitely keep an eye on how those cards are doing and people's opinions on those cards. Ryi, what do you think?
Overall, yeah, it's nice to have a good box finally. The drought has been brutal to go through. Like Kamell said, Witchcrafter is definitely going to be the best thing coming out of here. It kind of depends on how they end up being played, because the one I see being thrown around the most is mixing with Invoker, Alistair the Invoker, which I do think is a very, very good way of playing this deck. And if it's good enough, will it take over E-Saber? Because I'm seeing here, it's probably going to be Witchcrafter, a few of their, probably not all of their spell cards, but a few of their spell cards, and then probably the rest is just going to be that crazy back row that you guys see, Fiendish Chain, Floodgates, etc., to keep up with the meta, and then Lancias for hand traps. So that's definitely going to be like the best thing that comes out. I think it's definitely going to be tiered, but depending on how highly tiered it gets, just depends on how well it mixes into the meta. Very potentially, we might be seeing a tier 2, tier 1 deck out of that.
Wow.
Evil Eye is interesting because it's all in one box, so it's actually kind of cheap to play. I think that's kind of like the defining feature of it, and it's not a bad deck at all, but it's definitely a deck that's you know, at most you'll probably see as a high potential deck. Maybe tier 3 if the conditions are right and the meta is shifted hard enough with Witchcrafter coming in.
I think it's definitely going to be something that takes time to be good. You know?
Yeah, like the you know, the problem, a lot of problems with it, right? Is you know, obviously if you go second, there's so much disruption you have to go into against, and then actually having an Evil Eye monster on the board, there isn't even that many good ones to begin with, right? There's the girl,
there's the Medusa, and a couple other ones, and that's about it.
So, you know, like I already see it kind of bricking a lot, you know, so there's a lot of issues that come into it, but at the same time, if it's even halfway decent, it's literally all in this box, so that's pretty cool. And you don't even necessarily need 3 copies of the UR, since the other equip counts as the name of the UR, so that's pretty cool. At the end of the day,
Prophecy.
What else was in? Oh yeah, Prophecy, spellbooks. You know, spellbooks, they need more than this to come back, but it's pretty cool that they got their boss monster. I talked to Serenity a long time ago, and he said he wanted this for the longest time, and we thought we just wouldn't get it because it just seemed too strong. But now it's not strong enough, not quite yet. And then everything else, I mean, Chain Hole will be good in the future.
What about Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight?
Oh yeah, Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. I just don't think. Yeah, I mean, the problem with Dark Magician right now is if you play Eye of Timaeus, that's 1 brick already, and then if you play Dark Magician Girl, that's another brick in addition to all you're already bricking with your 3 normal Dark Magicians. So unless you're gonna do something crazy like drop a Dark Magician, which is, whew, don't do that. For a Dark Magician Girl, you're just adding on another brick, and then to play. I'm assuming most people still side deck Eye of Timaeus. You're gonna have to, you know, side deck 2 bricks, take up 2 of your side deck slots to put this in, all to just get a quick effect, pop 1 that still targets. I mean, we're in a meta now that has plenty of non-targeting pops, you know, so I just think it's too much work for too little effect to really get anything off in a Dark Magician deck.
All right.
And I think that's it, pretty much.
All right. XGP, how you feeling about this box? All right, so that is going to do it for the new main box, which is Sorcery. Guys, keep in mind, this is a main box. The archetypes we were just talking about: Witchcrafters, 2 UR boss monsters, and 2 UR monsters and a SR. Evil Eyes, they have 1 UR. And I want to say so far, these archetypes may not be the most expensive. So far, I'm looking at you having to go through this box. Well, honestly, who am I kidding? You're going to have to go through this 3 times if you want to play Witchcrafters.
I mean, Witchcrafters are going to be expensive, right? You got to go through this 3 times. You got to go through the other main box 3 times for Alistair.
Yeah, and these, and if spellbooks do ever become a thing, these cards are going to be necessary. Wisdom, of course, you know, spellbooks, you have to play multiple copies of a powerful
You're
card.
probably going to do the standard 3 Alistair 2 invocation, but I would not be surprised if you saw 3 invoke, because all these Witchcrafters love having extra spells in their hand. They don't care.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, honestly, there's a lot of like filler for the archetypes in the rare and normals, so you're really only hunting down a few of these UR and SR cards. There are a lot of filler, and keep in mind as well, 1 UR and 1 SR will be from the selection box. I'm not sure which selection box it will be, but there will be cards from there because we are 1 short on each of them.
What you expect, Fiendish Chain. What you get, Masked Chameleon.
Masked Chameleon. You guys will be getting Masked Chameleon. I hope you know.
God.
It's gonna be Masked Chameleon, just letting you know.
Yeah, it's gotta be Masked Chameleon, dude. Like, there's no way.
So thank you guys for coming out to our box review. We hope you enjoy. We always like having these and, you know, mashing it up, talking about the new cards together. So if you have any questions on the new cards, if you have any insight to what may be good, let us know in the comments below and hit up the Discord, because as soon as this box comes out, the first tournament, I'm hoping, will be Battleface Friday with the new cards. So definitely make sure you're in the Discord so you can participate in that free event, and subscribe to the Twitch channel if it is full already. Subscribe to the YouTube. We're almost at 700 subscribers. Our next goal is 1,000 subscribers so that we can get partnered on YouTube too. It's gonna be sick. And if you guys made it to the end of this review, leave Trent as a comment. Trent, don't forget about your boy Trent. A guardian of the woods, this massive tree is believed to be immortal. Pour one
It's
out.
like the whitest name I ever heard. Trent.
Pour one out for my boy Trent. And have a good night, guys. Peace out.
Bye, YouTube.